Good morning, Mike with Miter Sykes. And no, this is not going to be a quickie. I was thinking about something very weird in the shower, as one often does. I was contemplating my grandparents, specifically my grandmother's lives, what I knew of them. This is without doing any research, of course. What I knew of them, and then their subsequent health risks and all that stuff. Both of my grandparents have passed. Um, anyways, so I have I had two different grandmothers, as most people do. One of which was always in shape, made it a point to walk 1 to 3 miles every single day. If it was snowing, she'd go to the mall. She was a mall walker. If not, she would walk around her apartment complex and down and around the block. And she tried to eat as healthy as she could. Sometimes, fundage wouldn't allow it 100%, but definitely ate way healthier than the other side of the family. Had that little snack before bed, like they tell you to have. It's always healthy as fruits, crackers, cheese, which I guess is not really healthy, but it was never like an abundant amount. It was just enough to get a taste, really. Both grandparents were diabetic. And so that's my mom's side. So let me talk about my dad's side. My dad's mother, um, she was not the healthiest person in the world as far as habits. She was a bigger lady. Most people on that side of the family are bigger people. It's where I get my lovely figure from, and I love it. Wouldn't change anything about that ever. Uh, as long as I can remember, every single day, she always had soda. Like she had a bag of sodas. She would always carry extra for us kids because we'd ask for them, and then she would always have soda for herself. I don't think I've ever seen that woman drink water. No, I don't remember ever seeing her drink water. I've seen her drink tea, but not water. She always had sodas, though. Always had sodas. I do remember her working at Popeye's Chicken. Let's jump back to my mother's mother. So she worked, I believe, with First Data Resources. I could be wrong. But wherever she worked, she had a really good job, really good benefits, and I believe a good retirement. I don't remember much of her working. She stopped working before I was really old enough. um, so, anyways, jumping back to my dad's mother, uh, she was the grandmother that would let me watch whatever the hell I wanted. I remember um, her last husband and I used to watch Beavis and Butthead all the time together, and South Park, and but yeah, it was. I enjoyed. I spent a lot of time down there. We would play cards. Um, we would play spades for hours and hours and hours at the side of the family. Um, I only remember her cooking like four different meals. It was always she would make a ham, and I mean like a big ham with chocolate cake. I always remember chocolate cake being with it, and maybe mashed potatoes if memory serves. But that was a kid. But I always remember there was always chocolate cake with the ham. She would make a roast, and she would make spaghetti or goulash, one of the two, usually goulash, or at least our Midwestern American version of goulash. So basically, spaghetti with different noodles and a different concentrate for the most part. That was good. I ate a lot. And she would make bulking portions. I mean, you did not go hungry at grandma's. Mm-mm. Um, Grandma was her and my grandpa. They were resellers in a different way. So they would go to auctions and and they would buy like little bulk boxes and stuff like that at auctions, and then they would have a garage sale, big garage sale every year, yard sale, um, in their front yard. Oh, excuse me. Growing up, I always remember running those yard sales. It was fun. I miss it. Um, so to the point, you want to take a wild guess at which of my two grandmothers lived longer? Shouldn't take you. Shouldn't you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. That's right. My grandma who drank soda every day. Pretty sure until the day she passed away, she was drinking soda. Um, I remember her sitting and crocheting and knitting a lot. I do remember her like getting up and cleaning. Both were very religious, so religion had nothing to do with it. They were both very religious. Both went to church. Um, the biggest difference, and this is the one thing that most people they forget. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. It doesn't matter your habits, anything like this. The biggest difference between both of them was that my grandmother on my mother's side, I don't think ever had a single date after her husband passed away, and he passed away before I was born. I don't remember her ever being with a guy. I don't remember ever hearing of her going on a date or anything. She was always alone. Grandmother on my dad's side, however, she divorced my grandfather, who ended up remarrying a freaking awesome lady, and they stayed together forever. Um, and she married another guy, and they didn't work out. And then she met uh, her last husband. He's still alive, and he is grandpa. It's been a long time. But, she was always with somebody. As far as I remember, I don't remember her ever being alone. She always found somebody really quick. And I'll tell you what, they always annoyed the crap out of each other. They were always giving each other crap. Like the typical husband wife, move your big butt. They always annoyed the crap out of each other. But they stayed together, they loved each other, they still did things together. And they were always there to support each other. Whether they liked it or not, that's another story. But they were always there to support each other. And so I'm sitting here wondering to myself, it's like, does it even really matter what you eat and stuff as long as you don't do it in excess? Okay. So I do remember my dad's mother at times would, there would be a snack. There would be some healthy stuff. I do remember eating fruit and stuff like that over there. So it's not like she was a glutton or anything. Both my grandparents were awesome. I had my things with each. My mom's mom, our biggest thing was we would go for walks. Typically, when I was with her, we would go into the mall because I was a rowdy little kid and she didn't want me running out in the street. So we typically went to the mall. And then we'd always go to, when she had the money, we would always go to TCBY. It's a place here. It stands for the country's best yogurt. I don't know if they were national or not, but it's frozen yogurt, and we'd always get like parfaits and stuff. Not the healthiest, but it was a treat. And she would take me to the zoo a lot because, again, she liked to walk, in the zoo's perfect place. I remember she used to watch us when my mother would go to Cancun every year. And specifically, I can remember, so in the house we were living in, on the main level, right as you enter in the front door, was this. It was a marble floor, like an entryway. It's a marble floor. And then it was one of those houses where you turn right, you go to the family room. Straight is the laundry room. Um, just to the left of the laundry room was the basement door that goes down, and then just next to that were stairs that would go up to the next level, and then stairs that would go up to the top level. My brother's dad had money. Okay, that wasn't my thing. I was kind of the children under the stairs. But anyways, I do specifically remember watching from the family room my little brother when he was still crawling at the time, um, and he comes tumbling down the stairs towards that marble floor, and my grandma, bless her soul, she wouldn't have been able to catch him. She wouldn't have been able to dive down and catch him, but she threw a towel down, folded up towel, so that he landed on the towel. I specifically remember that. My dad's mom, we had a lot of adventures. I remember one time she was trying to ride bikes with me. I had just learned how to ride bikes, um, or ride a bike, and she got herself a bike. And I'm guessing she rode. I mean, I heard stories of her being a waitress at like a diner with roller skates and stuff like that. So I'm not. I'm just going over what I experienced. And we were out riding bikes. She crashed, um, got a bunch of big rocks in her legs, stuff like that. So she wasn't really physical. Um, my mother's mother got dementia really bad. We had to put her in a home. Um, the end of her life, she was in a wheelchair, couldn't remember anything. It was horrible. I don't wish that upon anybody. My dad's mother was, I don't want to say she was sharp as a tack because she had CRS. Um, and if you don't know what that means, sorry, it's not a real disorder. It's can't remember stuff. um, like she accidentally threw her purse away one night. We found it. It was in the garbage out back. But she was always, she never got to the point where she really forgot who she was. Now, as she got close to the end, obviously there were times where she had to really think hard, but she never got like onset dementia or anything like that. And a lot of that has to do with genes. I'm not saying that that's habit, but what I'm trying to say is loneliness is deadly. So if you do live alone, make sure you at least try to surround yourself with people. Because I don't remember my grandmother even having friends. Like, I believe, as far as I know, my mother was the only person that she talked to. And my mom would get busy and not talk to her for days, as kids do. So, surround yourself with people. Even if you don't like going out and hanging out with people, at least talk to people, at least have social relationships. We are social creatures. We need that in our lives. My dad's mother, oh my gosh, they knew so many people. They were always talking to people. She was always talking on the phone with somebody. She had multiple friends, um, constantly talking to people on the phone. Especially when my grandpa was at work, she was always on the phone with, let's see, there was a Linda, there was Joan, there's a few other people, they had friends at church, and there was just a lot. Okay, so my mom's mom, I do remember her being very social at her church, but I don't remember her interacting with any of those people outside of church, if that makes any sense. It was only when she was there. And I did go to vacation Bible school there, and she always volunteered there and was there because she was a teacher, I believe, for her career. Before FDR, she was a teacher. So she would um, help with the vacation Bible school and stuff like that. Again, these are all off of my memories, and I'm turning 41, and today's the 17th, so the 17th of next month. Um, so could be a little rusty. Just remembering it how I remembered. But loneliness. And on that note, we'll cue the not so music. But otherwise, have a great day.